morning, and welcome to Wednesdays with Darren and Cindy, where we bring you real conversation about things that affect our lives and the community. My name is Cindy Ward,
And my name is Darren Powell.
and we are going to be your host for our podcast.
Divorcing someone you've once loved can be devastating. It can feel like losing a limb. It can leave you confused about your past, your present, and your future. It can cause feelings of loneliness, desperation, depression, and self-loathing. If you allow pain from your divorce to rule you, you could end up losing everything. It's important to remember from the start that divorce isn't a death sentence. Your life isn't over, and no matter how much you feel it, you are simply in a period of transition. And as scary or difficult as it may seem, that there will come a time that this divorce will be insignificant of an event in your life and in your past.
That is so true, Mr. Darren. So, on today's episode of Wednesdays with Darren and Cindy, we have a special guest with us. Her name is Miss Kayla.
Hi.
Hello, Miss Kayla.
Hi, good morning.
So, can you introduce yourself? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, yeah. So my name is Kayla Pecastaing, and most of you probably know me from Yano Fitness Center. I work at the front desk. I'm in customer service. I've been here in Japan almost 7 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I came here as a military spouse, and then during my divorce, I said, thanks for the trip to Japan. I'm going to go ahead and stay. So I stayed, and I rebuilt my life all over again, and now I'm here. So I'm a recent graduate from UMGC.
Okay.
And I have my bachelor's degree in humanities. So
Nice.
come to Yano Fitness Center to discuss fitness and or existentialism, as I had to take lots of philosophy for my class. Other than that, it's just been a lot of fun. I hike and hang out with my friends, and I decided if I was going to rebuild my life, it's going to be where I was happy, and Japan is it. So I'm here.
That's amazing. Awesome. I just want to let you know your eyelashes are amazing.
Y'all can't see that, but
You can
yeah,
see that.
I did. Okay. Wow. 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
7 years. So these are tough questions, but
Yeah.
So how long has it been? Where at in this process did you go through the divorce?
So I've been divorced for 5 years now. I was only here as a military spouse for 2 years. So really I feel like I've been, here more than as a single person than I was a spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I was only married for 4 years. So now I've been divorced longer than I've been married. So.
Okay.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Kayla, I really want to ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
The healing process,
Mm-hmm.
you going through your divorce. A lot of times, there are a lot of spouses that say that healing process is no joke.
Right.
Can you please walk us through that healing process and then let us know where you're at in that process?
Well, there's quite a few theories out there. One in particular was, you'll get over it half the time that you were married, right? So I was supposed to get over it in 2 years. And I can tell you that is not true. At least in my case, it wasn't. It's taken, I would say, all the 5 years to really heal from it. There is no grieving school that you graduate from.
True. So true.
We know about the 5 stages, right? And we don't know. What we don't know is how we slide back and forth between. Sometimes we start all the way back at anger all over again, or bargaining, or what have you, before we can get to acceptance. And so it's not linear. It's healing is it's all over the place. And I think that if you do go backwards, you probably are not going as far back as you think you are. But you do sometimes. You do go back to having to relive things. I got sent these questions beforehand, and it was tough these last week to reevaluate and look back on these past 5 years of healing, and there were some tough days, to look back on. So, but as far as right now, I think really getting back to myself, especially graduating college, was so huge for me. In having my little job and my apartment and a good group of friends, it really helps you move forward, and you just keep going with that. So.
Well, I can honestly say every time I go into Yano, which is not often, but anyway, when I do go into Yano, you are just a bright ray of sunshine. Yeah. So the way you compartmentalize it, and you're not letting that show on the outside, and that's a really good hoorah for you, because you're doing very well.
Thanks.
You know, you got to keep going.
Well, and I did. There were periods where I did definitely wear that outside. I shaved my head. I shaved my head. Yeah. I did. I was so angry. I put on just a lot of weight. I had a permanent scowl on my face. I was not very nice to people that I worked with. Not at Yano, at my previous job. It was difficult. So I don't want to say I just divorced and it's been great. I definitely had those moments where I was pretty angry with the entire world. So, and that's normal. I think it's natural to feel that way, and for it to show, I think is okay. Just get past that as well. Yeah, it's important.
Wow. That's good stuff. Statistics tell us that 50% of U.S. marriages end in divorce, and in the DoD, those numbers are significantly higher because of the nature of the business, and I would say family separations, short engagement periods, incentivizing partners to get married for benefits before their time, pay on and off, housing and that kind of stuff. Would you say any of these factors played a role in the dissolving of your marriage?
I would say that kind of giving up everything and then moving all the way out to Japan could cause quite a bit of resentment in my marriage. Now, looking at it, I think that we really have to remember as spouses that, hey, this is a life that we signed up for. And that's not being harsh on anybody. What I observe from these vet spouses, right, the spouses that have been in the game for a long time, is they volunteer. If they're stationed on a base that's small like this, and maybe jobs are hard to come by, they're volunteering their services. They're out there in the community as much as possible, and so it's really important that you are proactive with what's going on. When we support our spouse's career, that doesn't mean that we hyper focus on them.
That's true.
Anytime we hyper focus on anything, especially another person, that's not going to go very well. And so it's really important to meet your needs first and foremost. And your children, everyone around you, and the entire world really benefits from you meeting your own needs first. Because then you're just easier to get along with, for one. And you're not, again, hyper focused on the other person. Because then you become really overly critical of them, and everything they do bothers you, and they don't support you enough, and well, you're working and I'm at home, and well, then go out and do something. And so that did cause issues, sure. But even me, I was the treasurer for the FRG. I was a Girl Scout leader, and I sat on the membership chair for ZOXA, the Community Spouses Association. So, and then in the end, I was able to utilize those resources and get really great references because I volunteered and because I got to know a lot of people in the community. So it ended up working out in my favor anyway.
Great.
So, well, yes, I understand it is that sacrifice, and you are leaving your family and friends behind to support your spouse's career. It's up to us to be proactive and not so overly focused on what they're doing.
That's really good. That's really good. I like the way you said that. Being hyper focused, you can for real lose yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've known many wives who have lost their total identity. They don't know who they are because they're too focused on, well, my husband is, well, my husband is this, well, my husband, you can't. And so I like the way you said that.
Right. Well, and it turns into this stereotype, I think, of military spouses being crazy about the rank and
wearing the rank.
Yeah, and who the spouse is and this and the gossip and that. And I understand it because they're bored. They don't have anything to do. And when you don't have anything to do, you really focus on some crazy things that probably wouldn't make much of a difference to you beforehand.
You are so right about that. So, with what you just said, can you tell us, you know, 'cause you don't want them to be hyper-focused on anything. So tell us, what does love look like? What does dating look like after divorce?
Dating and love after divorce. Well, thanks for having me on your show. I had a great time. Okay, well, so I think dating, whether you're divorced or what have you, will always show you what you don't want in life. I think we can always count on dating to show us that. But what's important is you get clear about what you want, and you stick to that. And you can be flexible, of course, but get clear about it. I want to get remarried, and I would like to have a baby, and I'm gonna stick to that. And so that means that I'm not gonna do something casual or once in a while. Or I'm looking to build a relationship and start a family. And you have to get clear with what you want, and then you cannot care too much about what everybody else thinks about that. So if I want to get remarried and have a baby, I don't care if that looks too girly or needy or stereotypical or whatever. That's what I want. So that's what I'm going to stick to.
That's good.
Yeah. So, and I think, really focusing on yourself is important, and your healing is your own journey. Absolutely. But what I've learned, I think this year more so than anything, is that you can heal on your own and through relationships as well. There's a lot of theories that are like, well, you heal yourself and then you date. And it sounds really beautiful, but then what happens is you do this healing journey and you, or at least in my personal experience, you come up with this idealized version of yourself and like, well, next time this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to say this, and you're just the perfect mate. And then you get, see something, introduced to something romantic, and you get anxiety all over again. And you're like, what happened? I balanced my chakras. I did all the journaling. What do you mean I have relationship anxiety? So you can heal on your own, yes, but also heal through relationships. We can't do the scary thing by avoiding the scary thing. And
so true. And
the scary thing for me is romantic relationships. I have anxiety around those and abandonment issues, and I can sit there and do all the inner healing stuff, but I have to do it. I have to practice, and I have to keep going on dates, and I have to open myself up to love and be present with it and accept it. I think that we can love all day long. That's the easy stuff, but are you in receiving mode as well, without self-sabotaging and running away from anything? So,
wow,
man, you said a lot. Let's hear from the therapist. I know you are bubbling. I know you are. Come on, bring it.
You know what? I cannot touch this. She is just like, she's teaching me. I'm like, it's the student and the teacher,
wow.
student. I'm getting taught. Yeah, like this is rich. This is really good.
This is really rich.
She's done her work for sure. Like, wow, thank you for that. Thank you for being vulnerable like that, because these are tough questions. Finances, an area that a lot of people say has been a major adjustment after divorce. Do you have any tips on rebounding and getting your finances in order after divorce?
Well, this question takes me back to a memory of being, going through my divorce, and I'm like, I'm crying and doing the whole bit, and then I pop up, and I'm like, I don't even have a bank account. And so I cleaned myself up, and I drove down to the bank, and I got a bank account, and I started with $300 to my name, and now I'm here. So don't do that. Make sure that you're ready.
Tip number one.
I utilize services like ACS that can provide, information for you on, and at least having something for yourself. Depending on, what age you got married, you may not even know how health insurance works, right? What are copays? What are pre-existing conditions? No, really, what are those? If someone could call in and let me know. I'm just joking. Let me know. Let me know what those are. I'm still working on that. No, but learning those things for yourself and how taxes work and stuff like that. If you got married, you went from your parents' health insurance to your husband's health insurance, and now you're paying this on your own, you're going to be really confused. So make sure that, and don't wait until the divorce. Do this now. Educate yourself now, and do what you can. And so I went to school full time. I worked full time, and I babysat on the weekends. And I'm not above doing 2-3 jobs if I need to survive. I feel like now I'm in a place where I'm not in survival mode. Now I'm just living, and so and that's really nice. But know that it might not be tough for everyone. I don't get any alimony, or I'm 100% independent from my ex-husband. So everybody's case is different. Know that it's not going to be a struggle forever. But yeah, you're going to have to hustle there for a bit, but you'll get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good stuff.
That is really good stuff. So, being where you're at in your journey, okay, what advice would you give the person that recently went through this difficult divorce, or they're starting to go through that grieving process?
Ooh, this one is tough because I feel like I'm talking to myself, my 5-year self. First and foremost, welcome home, because this is going to be about finding you, right?
That's really good. Wow. That's really good. That speaks a lot in itself.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
You're not broken, and healing is very possible.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Ooh.
You said a lot just in those few words, Miss Kayla. Like, you said a lot.
That's all I can muster up right now if I don't start just crying my eyes out. Yeah.
No.
And don't expect again that grief school, right, where you graduate from, it doesn't exist. So your healing is not linear. You're gonna have tough days, but you're gonna have really great days too. And then you get to do all the stuff you've been wanting to do, and you only have to do laundry for one person now, so that's great.
That's a plus.
I was setting up my apartment right when I was divorced, and my new apartment, and I thought, well, is this too girly what I'm doing? And I thought, you know what, this is my place. I can make it as girly as I want, and so it's girly now, and I like it.
That's awesome.
Well, this is the last big question. I'm sure something else will kind of bubble up just kind of organically, but can you talk about some of the positives that's evolved in your life going through this process and where you're at today? I think you kind of touched on a little bit, but
right.
Yeah.
Gosh, I want to be so bold and say that all of it's positive. Is that wild to say?
No, that's not wild. Say it.
It's such a beautiful, heartbreak can be such a beautiful thing, actually, because it's all about getting back to you, and meeting yourself all over again, or reinventing yourself. Because who I was 3 weeks ago is not who I am today, or even 5 minutes ago, or whatever. So you really get to know who you are and start your life all over again, and you can do it any which way you want to. So I think that's really cool.
Awesome. Well, before we leave, is there anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, I wanted to leave off with one of my favorite quotes from the late, great Dr. Maya Angelou. And it's, have enough courage to trust love one more time, and always one more time.
There's always another time.
Absolutely.
There's always going to be one more time. This was great. Do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, this is so rich. I just feel full right now.
Right. Me
This is such a good talk. Thank you, Kayla. Yeah. Thank you for just being transparent and putting it out there. But I think you're going to help a lot of people. You help. I'm sure you help me and Cindy. Every time we do this, we learn something and we get better. And again, it's that's what we're doing here. And I know that somebody in the community needed to hear this. And I think it's just such an offering to give of yourself. and it's going to help somebody else that's kind of going through, and it may speed up their 5-year process.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yes. A caveat on that. And well, everyone,